For years, we've been told a lie that cost us $70 a pop. It goes a little like this. To make a massive blockbuster game, you need a mega publisher, a multi-thousand person army of developers, and a budget that can fund a mission to Mars. They have the formula, they know what they're doing. But in early 2024, like so many times before, that story had to be rewritten. A $40 game from a mid-sized Swedish studio didn't just compete with a $70 giant from one of those very same mega publishers, it completely humiliated it. Today, we're getting to the heart of why so many of us feel exhausted by the endless grinds, the Jedi mind tricks, and the constant fear of missing out. This is about a strategy that could either point the way to a better future for gaming, or be a warning sign of an industry spiraling even further out of touch. So how did they pull it off? Let's break it down. And if we haven't met before, I'm Suk, an accountant who gives credit where it's due. Let's go. The story really begins with a simple design philosophy from the team at Arrowhead Game Studios. A game for everyone is a game for no one. With a team of just around 100 people, they're what you'd call a AA studio, a middleweight in an industry of heavyweights. They spent nearly 8 years developing Helldivers 2, a timeline that stretched far beyond their initial 3-year plan. Now, an 8-year development cycle for a team this size would be a catastrophic failure. Heads would roll. But for Arrowhead, this wasn't a bug, it was a feature. Instead of sanding down the edges and trying to appeal to the broadest possible market, they doubled down on the very things that would make some players hate the game. Mandatory friendly fire? Check. Complex button combos to call in support? Check. They focused on making one specific type of game, a chaotic, team-oriented sci-fi shooter. Their game. This focus allowed them to polish their core gameplay loop to a level of quality that could, and would, compete with games that had 10 times the budget. The result was a game with a confident and distinct identity, free from the unfocused feel that too often plagues larger games. But a great game is only half the battle. It still needs to find its way into our hands, and Arrowhead's approach was a masterclass in building our trust from day one. The pillar of their strategy was their price, $39.99. Hard to believe, eh? In a world where the $70 and now even $80 price tag has become the standard, Arrowhead knew the lower price point would catch our attention. At first, gamers were skeptical. We've been trained to think that price equals quality, and with the $40 price point, many worried it was a sign of an unfinished game where we'd expect a barrage of predatory monetization schemes on every menu screen. But the truth was the exact opposite. The lower price wasn't about the game being lesser, it was about trust. It dramatically lowered the barrier to entry, making it an even easier sell to convince 3 of your friends to squad up. But more importantly, it was a promise. It signaled that this wasn't just a $40 entry fee to a world of aggressive monetization. Former CEO Johan Pilestedt said the goal was to deliver a full experience for that price. The game's sales exploded and turned the price itself into a viral marketing point. Sales showed a rare inverse decay curve, meaning it sold more week after week post-launch instead of less. But if the game is so cheap, how would they make money long term? The answer to that question may be the most unconventional part of their entire approach. Let's be honest, we all get a knot in our stomach when we hear the words live service or battle pass. They've become synonymous with psychological manipulation. The entire model is usually built on FOMO, a constant pressure to grind or pay up before the season ends and all the cool stuff is gone forever. Helldivers system is the cure. They call their battle passes war bonds, and get ready for another unbelievable fact. It never expires. You buy it, it's yours. Forever. You can complete it next week, next month, or next year. That single decision tears down one of the most manipulative tools in the live service playbook. Next, the premium currency, super credits. You can buy them with real money, of course, but, and I can't believe I'm gonna say this, you can also just find them in the game, generously. It's entirely possible to earn enough credits just by playing the game to unlock the premium war bonds without spending another dime. Most importantly, the system avoids any pay-to-win mechanics. The best gear isn't locked behind a paywall. In fact, some of the most powerful weapons have been in the free standard war bond everyone gets. All the big updates, new enemies, new missions, are free for everyone, so the community is never split. Think about that. This approach reframes the entire relationship you have with the game. Now, purchasing super credits isn't an angry necessity, but a voluntary show of support for a game you enjoy. It's the difference between a tip jar and a forced gratuity. This built a mountain of goodwill, and they were about to need every single bit of it. At launch, Helldivers 2 was so popular, it broke. The servers were completely overloaded, locking out thousands of players. For most companies, this is a PR nightmare, which can only be handled with vague, corporate speak press releases. Arrowhead, sticking to the approach that even got them to this point, did the opposite. Then CEO Johan P. openly admitted they were unprepared, apologized, and shared real-time details about his team's efforts to fix it. He validated player frustration and framed it as a shared problem. They were suffering from success. But this wasn't even the biggest problem. The real test came later. Sony tried to force a mandatory PSN account linking requirement on PC players, which would lock out players in over 170 countries. Players revolted and unleashed one of the biggest review bombing campaigns in Steam's history. Instead of defending their publisher, Arrowhead publicly sided with their players, a move almost unheard of in the industry. Johan acknowledged the validity of the negative reviews, tweeting out, "Ouch," right in the review score. Well, I guess it's warranted. Sorry everyone for how all this transpired. In both cases, Arrowhead chose transparency over deflection. By admitting fault and siding with their community, they turned two potentially brand-destroying disasters into massive trust-building exercises. To fully appreciate how different this approach is, we need to compare it to a project that followed the traditional corporate approach to the letter. Enter Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Developed by Rocksteady, the titan behind the Batman Arkham series, a massive DC Comics IP? Check. A premium $70 price tag? Check. On paper, this was a guaranteed slam dunk, but was built on the conventional AAA playbook that Arrowhead rejected. A high entry fee followed by a battle pass and an aggressive in-game store with cosmetic bundles costing nearly as much as Helldivers 2 itself. The result? It flopped. Hard. Reviews blasted its painfully repetitive mission structure and lackluster story. The entire game felt like it was designed not to be fun, but to push players toward the store. The reaction from gamers was immediate and brutal. And the critical difference? The emphasis Arrowhead put on player trust. Let's put the data side by side. Launch price, Helldivers 2, $40. Suicide Squad, $70. Peak concurrent players on Steam, Helldivers 2, over 458,000. Suicide Squad, just 13,459. Player count after 3 months, Helldivers 2 was still holding strong above 100,000 players. Suicide Squad had collapsed to less than 200. Lifetime sales, Helldivers 2 sold over 15 million copies and became Sony's fastest selling game ever. Suicide Squad contributed to a $200 million loss for its publisher, Warner Bros. Games. The difference wasn't the IP, the developer's reputation, or the budget. The difference was trust. Helldivers earned it at every step. Suicide Squad asked for it up front and then immediately lost it. So what happens now? Does the industry learn or does it double down? Let me know in the comments which of these stats you find the most shocking. For me, that player count difference is just wild. This situation leaves the industry at a crossroads, with two possible paths forward. The optimistic, pro-consumer path is one where publishers learn the right lessons from this. They see the profitability of goodwill and begin to greenlight more ambitious AA projects. Monetization models could shift away from FOMO and manipulation tactics and become more ethical, toward models that respect our time and intelligence. Communication becomes more transparent. The result is a healthier, more creative industry built on mutual respect. And when we feel heard and respected, we're happy to throw our support towards something we feel deserves it. But there's a more pessimistic, anti-consumer path as well. In this version, the industry dismisses Helldivers 2 as a fluke, lightning in a bottle. They double down on the traditional approach. Games become even more grind-heavy to push us toward the store. The $70 price tag becomes a simple cover charge for the exact unfinished experience we were worried about with Helldivers. Player burnout intensifies, more studios close, and the relationship between us and the companies making our games becomes even more toxic. You'll see nothing but an us versus them sentiment across every social media platform. Gaming YouTube is going to have a never-ending stream of games to flame. The Helldivers 2 approach isn't an attack on the live service model or anti-profit. It's a demonstration of a better, more sustainable business strategy that proves the most valuable currency in gaming isn't bought in a digital store. It's the trust earned through quality, fairness, and respect. Arrowhead proved that when you treat players like partners instead of wallets and dollar signs, they'll reward you with their time, their money, and their loyalty. The question now is whether the giants of the industry were paying attention or even care. So what do you think? Is Helldivers a true wake-up call for the industry or just an anomaly? Let me know which future you think is most likely down in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives that break down the business and psychology behind the games we play, do me a favor and hit that like button. It really helps the channel. And while you're down there, make sure to hit that subscribe button too. Thanks for watching, and as always, play more, pay less. See you on the next one.